Hello everyone and welcome to another spot review because currently it's Wednesday, it's maintenance and I can't play my lolly. I'm planning to make a shy if it wasn't obvious already, but in the meantime let's talk about the underwater ruins. And at this point you should know how spot reviews work. Honestly, you should have seen at least one of the other videos in this series. If you didn't, we will discuss about the money per hour, the experience and the skill experience rates, and overall I'm gonna give you my impressions about this area, what I thought about it and all of that stuff. So let's begin. Hopefully I can get this video done today, unless I get distracted by shy, but I tried to rush this test honestly. I started testing this place 3 days ago and I tried to finish it as soon as possible. I was hoping it would be done before maintenance so I can focus on shy, but it is what it is. So let me begin with my equipment. I grinded this place on my level 62 wizard with 261 AP with my maneuver. My gear is pretty much the same as it was on the stars and video, but might as well show it, you know. This area recommends you to have 230 AP, which as always it's pretty much stupid because it never mentions if it's with a kutum, with a maneuver, with a green weapon, without a weapon whatsoever, it just doesn't mention. So my personal recommendation is 235 AP with a kutum. You should have about that much because I would say the monsters hit, or not hit, they are about as tanky as the Manchaum monsters, so that should give you some idea about how this place is. If you don't know where the underwater ruins is because the spot was released a couple of weeks ago, then this is some picture. Currently it's maintenance, so I have no idea and I don't want to bother looking up the names of the islands, but you should know that the spot is out in the ocean, not in the ocean, but around the same ocean as Pirate Island, so that type of ocean. And there is this island that has 2 NPCs on it. One of them sells you Marnie stones, and I would like to kill that NPC as soon as possible, or at least drag it by force and submerge it into water. And the other one gives you a not free because it costs 20 energy, swimming speed buff that you should always take so that you avoid spending money on the fish costume or some breathing potions. So first I'm gonna say yes, I hate that Marnie NPC because over my 12.5 hours spent here, I kept on having to swim back to the surface, go with my ship back to the island, buy Marnie stones, get back on my ship, go back to the spot where I'm submerging underwater, go into the grinding spot. It's just simply so annoying. I hope in the following weeks, months, the developers will wake up and move that NPC where it's supposed to be, which is in the underwater ruins. In any case, how do you get into this place in case you don't know yet, which you most likely don't? You pick up the swimming speed buff from the NPC next to the Marnie Stone NPC. My wizard or ranger will show you on the screen how to do it because it's much easier that way. But basically you pick up this swimming speed buff. There are a couple of portals that you can enter. I don't know all of them because I just didn't care to check all of them. I just found 2 portals and out of those I kept on using the one that seemed the most convenient. Once you are at this point, you just leave your ship here so that you can use it to get back to the island when you need more Marnie stones, and you just submerge yourself in the water and start diving straight down. And when you hit the bottom of the ocean, by that point you should be in front of the gate if you are on the right direction. It's not exactly hard to find it. If you enter the gate or portal once, the second time you do it you're gonna automatically know where it is. Once you are inside the cave, or not the cave, the bubble, the grinding spot bubble, this is where everything becomes easier. Yeah, anyway, you take a left turn, you go straight ahead, and you should at some point, if you followed my instructions, my perfect instructions properly, find a cave which has 2 more NPCs. One of them allows you to repair your gear, which is very nice. It's always nice to have a repair NPC right next to the spot. And the other NPC sells you potions in case you are one of those unfortunate classes that actually needs potions in 2019. So yeah, also these NPCs give you daily quests, which it took me about 3 to 4 days, not sure, to test this area, and in this time I picked up the dailies and did them on every day when they actually resetted. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. You can pick up the dailies. I believe one of them or 2 of them give you dust, and the other one gives you some of that essence to make the frenzy elixirs. Not amazing rewards, but I guess it's still something. If you're gonna grind here, you might as well get the free quests. From this point in space and time, you exit the cave and you take a left turn. Again, you go straight forward if you're watching the screen, and you should reach the rotation. I would like to mention that I used not the worst video done on this place a couple of weeks ago as my reference point throughout my entire testing, let's say, because when I started grinding here, I didn't have any idea about how the place looked like, so I kind of made my own rotation out of his rotation from his video. In my opinion, this place only has 1 rotation, and yes, currently I am showing the rotation on the screen, because this rotation is about in the middle of the bubble of the grinding spot, and with the groups left on the sides, I suppose, I didn't see any packs that would be worth including in a second rotation. The area has a lot of elevation and rocks and all of that, and I don't think you can. Let's say this area has at most 2 usable rotations. The one that I used is kind of small, because I'm not sure if currently we still have the event with double respawn rates for this area. If we do, you can extend this rotation with some extra groups around the spot, because I just didn't include them because I didn't need them. My rotation is kind of the reverse version of what Not the Worst used. How you grind the rotation, you basically try, I guess this depends on your class, but on my wizard I just tried to lure together 1 or 2 groups. Actually often it was 3 groups. I tried to lure as many monsters as I could aggro onto a separate pack that was not aggroed, and then I just spammed my AoEs over and over until the pack was dead. This spot is the only one where I actually did loot manually from the ground every now and then, because the mob density is very high and I felt like why not loot a little bit and get some more trash maybe, instead of just moving to the next pack and leaving behind like 10 different types of trash. Not the Worst on his video, I'm not going to show on the screen because that would be kind of unfair, but I will just mention it verbally. I will leave a link to his video in either the description or a pinned comment if you want to see it, because it's, I guess, good to see 2 different perspectives of a spot from 2 different people. So if you want to see his video, he grinded 20 hours here and he had tier 4 pets, not like mine. Anyway, just go watch it. He got 6.2 thousand trash per hour with tier 4 pets, and back when he tested it, the area was very contested. It was around the release. I'm not sure if it was contested on every single one of his 20 hours, because all of them had around 6,000 trash per hour. If you look at my chart, I guess this is the point where I bring it up. I managed to average around 7,000 trash per hour with only tier 3 pets and not tier 4 pets, so that's an improvement. I didn't encounter any PvP whatsoever in my 12 hours here. I only found 2 people in the area, and switching servers once always solved the problem for me. So these days people kind of gave up on the spot, and you can expect 7000 trash per hour pretty easily if you clear as fast as I did. For clearing speed, I'm pretty sure I can increase my monsters per hour a little bit, because as I said, I was occasionally looting manually, which means I was not moving from one pack to another fast enough. I would say I can push 3000 monsters per hour maybe, but my average was about 2,800 monsters per hour, including the first run, which was slightly slower because I didn't have an idea what rotation I want to grind. So besides that, the reason why this test is 12.5 hours is because of the loot table. So let's talk about that one. The trash here is actually pretty expensive, not exactly actually, it's 2,300 trash, but you get a lot of it. You get 7,000 of it per hour, which would mean that you make at least 16 millions per hour or so just from the trash alone. That's pretty nice, but the disappointment comes in the other drops. So you get some black magic crystals, which are meh, they don't sell very much. I bundled all of them together. As you can see, I barely got any, and they are these 4 types of crystals: swiftness, agility, memory, and ascension. They are all about the same price, but not a lot of money from them anyway. Fragments do drop here. You don't get a lot of them. They don't even sell on the marketplace. They are on the minimum price, and there are a lot of them registered on the minimum price. Nobody actually buys them these days. Blackstones, you will hardly see any of them drop here. Kafra stones, the same story, you get either none or maybe 1 if you're lucky, 2 if you have some amazing luck in one session. Dust is also pretty meh. The sessions where you see that I had 10, 15 or 11, those are most likely runs where I turned in my daily quests, which also give you dust, so keep that in mind. Black energy residue, pretty inexistent for this area. If you are planning to grind those for I guess Dragon Slayer weapon, this is not it. Abyssal essence, this one actually is pretty nice. It's a higher drop rate than what I got at Proti Cave, so I will give it that. Petals, nobody cares about that. I got 1 magical shard, or whatever the name is, the yellow item used to craft costumes. I got 2 ancient creature scales, which I have no idea what to use them for. You have to have 5 of them, just like relic scrolls, and you make some form of boss out of them, I think. But these also are listed at the minimum price on the marketplace, and in quite high quantity. So I suppose the scroll or whatever you craft with them is not that profitable. The Tungrad ring, actually this one should be 0 because I don't know why I placed there a 1. I didn't get a single Tungrad ring in my 12.5 hours spent here. I didn't get a single black shard, and I didn't get a single red shard, which is why I tried to grind here over 10 hours. I tried to push this spot as much as possible. I wanted to stop the test as soon as I got 1 Tungrad ring to at least have that on the loot table, but sadly the maintenance arrived before, I got 12.5 hours before the maintenance, and I don't think I'm gonna add more hours to the spot because at this point I lost my hope whatsoever. Again, to reference not the worst video, he had tier 4 pets, he had the Kamasil blessing, I don't have a Kamasil blessing, and I don't have a loot scroll. He didn't have the loot scroll either, but he got 2 Tungrad rings, so 2 of them in 20 hours. He got, I believe, 4 black shards in 20 hours and 2 red shards in 20 hours. So from my 12 hours, I should at the very least expect 1 Tungrad ring, maybe 2 black shards and 1 red shard. That's what I should expect. And with those I am averaging 40 millions per hour for this spot. But since I didn't get those, the official average, for me at least, was 25 millions per hour, which is very, very disappointing. If everyone agrees with me, let's just all agree that you should get a Tungrat ring in 10 to 12 hours. If not the ring, at least you should get one of each shards to make it, to craft the ring. So I'm going to leave a 1 here on the loot table and say that the official money per hour value for this place is 35 millions per hour, because it seems quite bad RNG that I didn't get a single ring or pieces for the ring in 12 hours. So that's that for the money per hour. Pretty disappointing. As I said, I was expecting a lot more. Honestly, I was hoping this spot would get close to 60 millions per hour just because the ring is that expensive, but it didn't get there. There is now that we are getting into the experience part of the video, there is one extra session on my ranger which I used for experience purposes, but I didn't include it because it was very slow and I didn't get any rare drops to actually be worth including it in the table. So let's talk about experience. Experience wise, this place is actually very good, and I'm not even exaggerating that. The spot is very good. So how I said experience you already know at this point, but my main character is level 62. For this area I had to bring a level 61 to keep my consistency and see the experience rates at level 61. This chart over here is the experience from my ranger test, which was extremely slow at 1.3 thousand monsters per hour, less than half of what my wizard can get, but then I just scaled up these two values, the experience and skill experience, to match what my wizard would get in terms of monsters per hour, and this is the experience that my wizard with his clearing speed should get at level 61. I basically just tried to fill 3 Marnie stones, so 750 monsters, and then that was it. The Marnie stone experience is pretty okay-ish, it's not terrible, it's not amazing, but since you only kill 3000 monsters per hour, you can't really expect a lot, as opposed to Vogons or so, where you kill 5000 monsters per hour. The normal experience is where this spot actually shines. The normal experience is close to what you can get at Mirmok Ruins if you average around 2000 trash per hour with your party. So since the normal experience is so high and this spot also has Marnie zones, overall the total experience is actually higher than what you can expect at Mirmok Ruins. So that was actually surprising to me. The skill experience is